Hey y'all, it's August the 22nd, 2015, and I just wanted to have a word with y'all real quick. Now, I want to start off by saying that everything that I'm about to say is on its face common sense, reason, and logic. So everything that I'm about to say should not even have to be said, and yet and still I'm being forced to say these things. It does not make me happy, I'm gonna let you know, to make this video. It doesn't make me happy to say these things. It actually makes me quite sad that I'm being forced to have to say these things. Because these things are obvious. I don't care what your sexuality is. These things are obvious to anybody. Now, there is a community of people who are forcing their agenda more and more as time goes on. This community oftentimes is referred to the L. Sorry, just got all windy. The LGBT community, which, if I'm not mistaken, stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community. And if you've been following it, you've been following this community as fairly closely as I have, you realize that that anagram is actually obsolete. That doesn't apply anymore because as of today, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, it could be even more than this, LGBT is now LGBTQIA. What it's doing is it's adding more and more and more letters. It's never subtracting letters. Alright, let's keep that in mind. Um, and against my will, I just had to do it because curiosity struck. Went on the internet, and I could see all sorts of celebrities, or even regular, everyday, normal people speaking about how certain things are hate-filled. Certain policies, certain ways of living are filled with hate. Such as that one piece of legislation, I forget what state it is now, Indiana, was being implemented that said, hey, listen, any person, and this includes gay people, this includes transsexual people, it's not even gay, it's homosexual. Let's keep it real. Any people, including them, have the right to say, no, I just don't want to support the activities you're into. Therefore, I don't want to give you the service that I have to offer. Now, if you know anything at all about America, realize that we've pretty much always stood for this. The reason being is since slavery was abolished, that's pretty much the policy, is that if you want me to do something and I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it. I've heard outrage over the maintenance of this policy, calling it hate-filled, saying you're hating on us in a hateful, bigoted way by basically not being our slave. Because here's the thing about it: you turn around and you ask any other group, like, let me just throw you out a little analogy right now. What if I went into a community of dark-skinned people, which are oftentimes referred as black people, and say, hey, listen, I want this. Here's money. Do it. And they said, no. Everybody collectively said, no, we don't want to do it. What it is you're asking us to do. I'm sorry. And I said, well, you know what? You're a hate-filled. And I'm going to try and implement legislation that makes you legally bound to have to do what it is I'm saying. The idea of that sounds outrageous. And you want to know why? Because that is exactly what slavery is. That is slavery, by definition. And so now what we have is people, and for a while now, have been outraged to the point of emotional, violent rages by the idea of you thinking that you have the right to not be a slave for them. They are calling you hate-filled because maybe you do not want to be their slave. And it really is that simple. I mean, that's bad. Alright? So I hope that this made sense to you as to how amazingly backwards things have become in the tribulation. Where it is now hate-filled. It's hate-filled to not do whatever you say or go to jail for it. Lastly, I want to make this video a two-parter. I'm going to bring you a word that you probably don't know. In fact, I'm going to start doing this, man, because, you know, in this tribulation, it's very easy to do, where I can say words that you probably don't know because the origin of these words are absurd and amazing. Go ahead and look this up. Here's one that you probably don't know, and I don't blame you for not knowing. Pansexual. Go ahead and Google that up. Pansexual. When you read the definition, you'll realize that basically what's trying to be done here is an absolutely not exclusive, totally inclusive type of sexual orientation, in which by no means do you discriminate. Basically, that's what it's describing. By no means do you discriminate what it is you will have sex with. An act that was meant for procreation. So I'm gonna have a very hilarious time. I'm gonna have a very mind-blowing time trying to listen to anybody on earth explain to me how if this sexual orientation is not discriminative at all, well then you can explain to me why pedophiles are not a part of your group that you're grouping yourself into now. Saying, I don't discriminate at all. Really? Well, if you're not going to discriminate at all, don't you think pedophiles are allowed in your group? I mean, pedophiles actually do exist. So I guess it just goes without saying that a pedophile would be synonymous or related to being a pansexual. And being a pansexual is something that people are openly referring to themselves as. and also not going directly to jail. Please let that sink in right now. That's right. I mean, the LGBTQIA grouping community of people has become the LGBTQIAP. And you can put that as pedophile or pansexual. I guess it really is very much interchangeable. Have fun with that. In fact, before I go, I'm gonna let you in on another little word. Here's a freebie. Cisgender is spelled CIS gender. You're gonna have a lot of fun with that too. All right. Uh, a word that never should have even existed. It exists, and I'm gonna just keep bringing you more and more words. This is August the 22nd, 2015.